A Tale of a Muslim Girl and Her Infidel Lover. A novel by Dr. A. Ahmed. This is an epic story which resonates with love, resilience, courage, and sacrifice. Before we dive into the tapestry of the story, I would like to inform the reader that this novel is narrated in 3 books. Book 1. The beginning of forbidden love between the Muslim girl and her infidel professor. Copyrights. All rights are reserved. No part of this book may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means without the prior written permission of the author, except by a reviewer, who may quote brief paragraphs for a review to be printed in a public newspaper, general magazine, school journal, or university article. This novel is a work of fiction, but the entire story is based on a real life of a Muslim girl in Sudan. Therefore, all names, characters, places, and events are either the product of the author's imagination or used literary. Any resemblance to real persons, living or dead, events or locales is purely coincidental. Chapter 16. The second psychotherapy session of Ibtihal. The life of the Muslim girl Dr. Ibtihal has begun to become a bit complicated. At home, her Muslim husband Tariq began to threaten to marry a second wife beside her. This would be considered by her royal family a failure on her part to keep him at least a few years before he goes for a second wife. At the Hamad floating restaurant, her infidel lover started to raise serious points against her religion. This would prolong her efforts to win him over to her religion. At the clinic, her psychiatrist doctor troubled her with embarrassing questions. Having no choice, she has decided to deal carefully with those 3 men, her husband, her lover, and her doctor. Thinking that her psychiatrist wants to find out whether she used to dress up in a way to reveal her feminine attraction, Dr. Ibtihal carefully selected a few pictures from her album and brought them along with her. When she arrived at the psychiatric clinic, she handed them over to her psychiatrist. Dr. Ismail took the photos and began to examine them, as if he were searching for some hidden beauty marks on the face of the lovely girl who became his patient. Then he requested her to lie on the couch. This time he kept looking at her face until she felt embarrassed and closed her eyes. "Why have you closed your lovely eyes? Have you felt shy? I don't feel comfortable when someone stares at me." "I have not stared at you. I am just admiring your unmatchable beauty. I just don't like men looking at me. Last time you told me you feel good if someone tells you, you are beautiful. But you have just kept looking at me without saying anything. People sometimes speak through their eyes." Dr. Ibtihal felt his words had become too personal, and hence she ignored his last remark. "Okay, let us change the topic if you don't feel comfortable speaking about your outstanding beauty and sexy body. Now tell me, Mrs. Ibtihal, do you love your husband?" "Not at all." "Then why did you agree to marry him?" "I had no choice." "I can understand that. Suppose if you had been given a choice to choose your life partner, would you choose someone other than him?" "For sure I would." "Who is he?" Dr. Ibtihal discovered too late that her cunning psychiatrist deceived her and snared her. "I meant to say for sure I would not have chosen him. But I have no other man in my life." Dr. Ismail suspected that his lovely patient is in love with someone else. "Do you love any other man?" "Not at all." "Not even your father?" "Of course, I love my father. But I thought you meant the erotic love between a man and a woman. What do you think about the romantic and sexual love between 2 people of the opposite sex? Do you think it is wrong for a girl to fall in love with a man before marriage?" "I have not fallen in love with any man, therefore, I don't know whether it is wrong or right. I had fallen in love with a girl. It is wonderful to experience falling in love with someone." "Is she your wife now?" "Unfortunately, she is not. Her parents objected to our relationship and forced her to marry her cousin. Why did they object? Simply because she is an Arab girl, and I am an African man. I am sorry to hear that. It is a common problem in our racial and backward society. Do you still love her? Yes, I do love her still, but what the use of that love now? Do you blame her for that? Not really. I understood it was not her fault. Do you see her sometimes, or at least try to contact her? Mrs. Ibtihal, why do you want to know everything about my failed love affair relationship? I am just curious. Then, in that case, you must come and sit here, and let me lie on the bench. I am so sorry, sir. I don't mean to be so mean. It is okay, I am just kidding. I had not seen her since she got married. Her parents forced her to marry her cousin, who lived in the state of Qatar. As soon as they married her, they shipped her overseas to him at Doha City. It is a very sad love story. This is life, my dear. Anyway, just forget about my former Arab girlfriend, and let us come back to your problem. Now let me ask you another question. Are these the only pictures you took in your life? I don't like the photos. But all your photos show that you are always a happy girl. In every photo, you are smiling. This tells me you are a happy young woman. I did not say that I am not a happy girl. My problem, I feel I am a boy. What do you do for a living? Are you a housewife or employed somewhere? I am a medical doctor. You are working what? Shouted Dr. Ismail. I have just completed my medical training, and began to work at Soba Hospital. Are you working as a doctor in Soba Hospital? Yes, sir. You are not only a happy young woman, but also a very successful person. Maybe I am a successful person, but I am not a happy girl. I admit I am not a good psychiatrist, man. How could I not discern that you are a doctor? Maybe because I don't look like a physician. Do you know, Dr. Ibtihal, from the time I saw you, I recognize that you are an intelligent girl. Your lovely eyes are full of beauty, and your mind with intelligence. Thank you, Dr. Ismail. Me too. When I was a young man at high school, I wanted to go to the medical college and become a medical physician, but unfortunately ended up being a psychiatrist doctor. You have an excellent profession too. But people in this Muslim society don't believe in a medical practitioner who is specializing in the diagnosis and treatment of mental illness. Instead, when they have psychological problems, they go to the witch doctor or be thrown in a mental hospital. Therefore, I hardly get any patients in this city, which is supposed to be the capital of Sudan. That is also another sad reality of our people, who consider even love between a man and a woman before marriage is an unpardonable sin or crime punishable by the Sharia law. Yes, love has no place in our society too. Yes, a girl has to hide her love affair from her parents, as if she is doing some abominable act. Anyway, Mrs. Ibtihal, since you are a doctor, and I am a male psychiatrist, I want to be open with you. I don't think you have any psychological problem at all. I don't understand you, Dr. Ismail. Do you mean to tell me that I am just a liar girl, or a pretending woman? I don't want to be so rude and put it that way. Maybe your family circumstances had put you into this problem. I don't have any circumstances except that my father made me believe from childhood that I am his only son. Well, if you insist that you have a psychological problem, let us continue our discussion. I want to give you some homework. I want you to start telling yourself that I am not a boy, I am a girl. Can you begin to practice now? I am not a girl, I am a boy. No, please. Just say I am not a boy, I am a girl. I am not a girl, I am a boy. Listen, Dr. Ibtihal, I have not asked you to believe that you are a girl. I want you to recondition your mind. Your father has conditioned your mind from your childhood and made you believe you are a boy. This conditioning killed all the feminine feelings inside you. And since your mind controls your body, you have been dried up of any emotional and physical feminine feelings. Have you understood what I have said? Yes, sir. To recreate those emotional and physical feminine feelings inside you, we need to work with your mind. After all, they said psychology is the study of the mind. Okay, sir. Now try just to repeat this sentence after me. Everybody says I am a girl. Everybody says I am a girl except my father and myself. Why have you brought your father and yourself? How can I deny myself and my father? Okay, Mrs. Ibtihal, we stop here for today. When you come next time, bring your father with you. Why do you want to meet my daddy? Why not? If your father still believes that you are a boy, why then he allowed you to marry a man? I don't want my father to know that I have this mental illness. Why don't you want him to know? My father is always proud of me. I don't want him to feel guilty. What kind of work does your father do? My father is the Imam of the Grand Mosque in Al-Gadarif city. Really? It means you are the daughter of a great religious man. Thank you, sir. Okay, let us keep your father out of it. At least, try to remember what I asked you to say. I will try, sir. Okay, bye for now, and I shall see you next week. By Dr. Ismail. Chapter 17. A beautiful evening at the Hilton Hotel. The Christian lover felt he was hard on his Muslim girlfriend at their last meeting. The expression on her face that he saw when he met her again in the hospital showed that she was nervous. For that reason, he decided to invite her for dinner in the restaurant of Hilton Hotel. He assured her that she would love the place more than she loves the Hamad floating restaurant. Dr. Ibtihal reluctantly accepted the invitation. The restaurant at the International Hilton Hotel is the most expensive place in the capital city. It is on the 20th floor of the hotel. The hotel is located in the most beautiful place in Khartoum. It is built in a place called Al-Magran, where the Blue Nile and the White Nile meet and form the River Nile. The restaurant has small cabins that are meant for privacy. Each cabin is closed all around except for a small entrance. From the cabin, the visitor could see most of the capital city. Below him, the visitor can see the two rivers meeting together and then join their blue, white waters and form the River Nile on a long trip until they empty their mixed waters into the Mediterranean Sea. He could also see the splendor of the city lights. The Nile street lights along the two sides of the road appear to the visitor as a necklace made of shining precious gems. On Thursday evening, Dr. Ibtihal walked inside the restaurant along with her lover, Dr. Samir. She appeared to be the visitors of the restaurant as a lovely bride who came to spend her honeymoon with her handsome groom. She had dressed up in one of the most beautiful dresses she had. Her face shined with the reflection of the lights as a full moon. Her long black hair covered half of her back. Her eyes glittered like the stars on a dark night. She walked gracefully beside her handsome lover. Everyone who saw her has admired her marvelous beauty. All the visitors and the restaurant workers except one took her for a lovely new bride with her handsome groom. And that one who has not seen her as a bride happened to be her psychiatrist. Dr. Ismail could not believe his eyes that the beautiful girl that has just walked inside the restaurant with a handsome young man is his patient, Dr. Ibtihal. What has increased his astonishment is that she is not putting her hijab or the Islamic head cover. Every man can see her without that Islamic dress that used to hide half of her beauty and charm. His astonishment turned into wrath when he saw she is walking with another man. He knew that it was not her real husband whom he saw when they came to register her psychiatric case in his clinic. It does not take the angry man Ismail long to conclude that Dr. Ibtihal has a boyfriend, and she is cheating on her husband. All those puzzles and drama that she created in her house and in his clinic were meant to cover up such a scandalous relationship. His anger multiplied when he understood that Dr. Ibtihal denied her husband her body to enjoy with her lover. At that moment, a sense of anger and revenge filled his mind and heart. Dr. Ibtihal has no knowledge that her affair with her infidel lover has become no more secret. She does not know that someone saw her walking hand in hand with her lover and using his cell phone and taking their photos. If she knew her visit would be turned into a nightmare that would haunt her all her life, should never have come there. The cunning psychiatrist used his phone and took many photos of the cheating wife and her secret handsome lover. Meanwhile, the lovely girl Ibtihal Taha walked like a new bride inside the restaurant holding the hand of her handsome man. When she reached her cabin and looked across the window, glass and saw the wonderful sight of the city, at night her heart had been filled with joy that she had never felt before. "What a beautiful sight," shouted Ibtihal when she saw the city below her. She felt as if she was a nightingale flying over the city by night. "I have never known before that there is such beauty in this city." Then she turned to her lover and hugged him so tightly and said joyfully, "Thank you so much, Dr. Samir, for bringing me here." Dr. Samir has been overcome by the beauty of the place and the sexy body of his beloved girlfriend, and therefore he has responded with all his being and kissed her lips. That kiss knitted their bodies together and molded their souls into one single soul. It is a moment when both lovers felt that they reached beyond the physical world and entered the divine realm. At that moment too, they felt nothing could satisfy the quest of the human soul more than love. On that wonderful evening, the lovers decided not to talk about religion. They spent the time whispering their love for each other. Whenever they felt that their words could not express their love for each other, they allowed their lips to drink from the fountain of their love. Chapter 18. I have bad news. At this stage, the story of Dr. Ibtihal would take a dangerous turn. Many narrators of the story believe that she dug her own grave by playing with fire and cheating on her Muslim husband. Those narrators look at her as an opportunist girl who married her cousin and used him as an excuse to continue living in the capital city and enjoy her wonderful love affair with her handsome Christian lover. Other narrators such as the Sudanese feminists believe that Dr. Ibtihal was forced by her strong and genuine love and the unfair restrictions that her society placed on her as a woman, and hence agreed to marry her cousin to live in the capital city and try to win her Christian lover to her religion, and then marry him. Those feminine narrators also argue that Dr. Ibtihal could be blamed only if she lived with her husband as a wife, and at the same time continued her secret affair with her lover. The differences between the narrators could be looked at as a matter of personal opinions. It does not matter which way the narrator would interpret the events in the life of Dr. Ibtihal. What matters is that at this stage the reader should prepare himself for the huge twist that the story is about to take. Friday is a public holiday in Sudan. The supposedly psychologically sick girl Dr. Ibtihal would usually remain in bed until late. She has nothing to do except meet her psychiatric doctor at 6 o'clock in the evening. That particular Friday, even though she woke at 10 o'clock in the morning, but still continued lying on her bed. She began to recollect those wonderful moments she spent last night at the Hilton Hotel with her lover. The memory of those pleasant moments made her long for her lover Samir and wish him to be with her on the bed and make love with her. Knowing such a wish might not be fulfilled for a long time, Dr. Ibtihal held a pillow and pressed it affectionately to her chest and began to kiss it. Mysteriously, that soft pillow has been changed into her handsome Christian lover, and she began to whisper love words to him. She used her 2 middle fingers and inserted them in her pussy and began to masturbate her aroused body. Her joyful moments of sexual pleasure were interrupted by the phone ringing. She wondered who would call her at such a time. She placed the pillow down and picked up the phone. She is still lying on her back. "Hello," responded the lovely girl in a sleepy musical feminine voice. "Hello, Mrs. Ibtihal," said a thick masculine voice. She heard a voice as scary as the voice of an ogre. She does not recognize the voice of the caller. Who is on the line? Have you not recognized my voice? The voice began to sound familiar to her, but still, Dr. Ibtihal could not know the caller. Yes, your voice sounds familiar, but I just got up from sleep. Who is this? Yeah, most probably, you had a wonderful time last night, that is why you are still on the bed. At this moment, the sleepy girl Dr. Ibtihal recognized the caller, but wondered how he knew that she had spent a wonderful time last night. Is this Dr. Ismail? Yes, he is. Good morning, Mrs. Ibtihal. Good morning, sir, she replied worriedly. She wondered why he called her to her house. He had never called her to her house before. I am really sorry to disturb your sleep, but I have sad news for you. Ibtihal's heart began to beat faster when she heard that he is about to convey some disturbing news to her. Hello, are you still there? Shouted Dr. Ismail when his patient Ibtihal did not react to his last sentence. What is sad news, sir? Inquired the frightened girl in a frightened voice. Your appointment with me today should be cancelled. Why, sir? She asked in a low voice. I have to go to the Khartoum criminal court today. The frightened girl, Dr. Ibtihal, felt every word he spoke made her situation worse and tormented her more. I don't get you, Dr. Ismail. Relax, lovely girl, I am not going to court to see you, but I am going to testify in court regarding the case of one of my patients. He is gay and has a male lover. Some people want them both to be punished as male prostitutes. I must testify that my patient is having a psychological problem. He is like you, he has been made to believe he is a female and not a male. He has 7 sisters, and he is the only male, and that is why he got influenced by his sisters. For that reason, I won't be able to see you today. The supposedly psychopathic girl Dr. Ibtihal wished that her psychiatrist Ismail were standing in front of her so that she could slap him. You made me extremely scared, sir. I am sorry, sweetie. I did not know that you were such a scary cat. Anyway, bye for now and see you next Friday. Thank you for informing me and bye for now. When she said those words, Dr. Ibtihal has slammed down the phone in anger and said, go to hell. Unfortunately, her wonderful morning, romantic moments, and her handsome lover are all vanished when that silly doctor called her. After soaring in heavenly bliss, her psychiatrist's phone call brought her down to earth. She wished that the judge would turn his witness into a serious accusation against him, and throw him behind bars forever. Suddenly a bright idea flashed in the mind of the lovely girl Dr. Ibtihal, and made her shout, yes, as if she has reached orgasm in her virgin pussy through her masturbation. That idea is illumined in her mind like a divine intuition, as if the goddess of love Aphrodite has revealed it to her to rescue those wonderful moments vanished. It filled her heart with happiness, and made her shout in joy. She picked up the phone, dialed a number, and waited eagerly. Someone responded to her phone call, in a nice masculine voice on the other side of the line. It is like the voice of Paris of Troy. Hi, said Aphrodite, the goddess of love and beauty. Her voice sounded like a child that had been overwhelmed with joy. Hi, sweetie, said her lover, Paris. I have an invitation for you. What kind of an invitation? My auntie and her husband and their children are going to a wedding tonight. I pretended to be a sick girl and told them I wouldn't be able to go with them. For that reason, I have decided to invite my dear lover for dinner at the Hamad floating restaurant. And your dear lover with joyful heart accepts the invitation. Then I shall see my handsome doctor at 7 p.m. at the Hamad floating restaurant. Sure, I shall meet you there, my beautiful and sweetie girlfriend. Before she put down the phone, the happy girl Ibtihal placed it on her lips and kissed it. Then she began to count the hours, waiting eagerly for the evening to come when she would be in his strong arms, and his lips kissing her sweet lips. Chapter 19. We live in a different time and new world. Dr. Ibtihal before she left home informed her Muslim husband that her psychiatrist has called on the phone and cancelled her appointment. Then she lied to her husband Tariq by telling him she received a call from the hospital requesting her to fill a night shift for a doctor who is sick. As before, her husband digested this lie too. The two intimate lovers are so happy to meet again in such a short time. By this time, their love for each other has reached a summit that it is an extreme pain for them to be living apart. That evening both of them admitted that they were torturing each other by living separately. Nonetheless, both of them knew that they had no other choice. For how long we have to suffer like this by living apart? Asked the Christian lover Samir. I feel we are torturing each other by living separately, said his Muslim girlfriend, Ibtihal. Do you think one day we will be able to marry and live together as husband and wife? That day will come only if we solve our religious differences. I am afraid that we may never be able to solve those differences. Don't be pessimistic. We will be able to remove those obstacles if we continue to discuss religion. By the way, I thought about those points that you rose, and I think I have an answer for you. What is your answer? See, in those days when our Prophet Muhammad lived, the whole world was engaged in war. Attacking and invading other nations was the philosophy of the day. The Persian Empire rose and controlled the world. Then Alexander the Great of Greece came and conquered the whole known world at that time. After that, the Roman Empire came and invaded every nation, followed by the Islamic Empire. This continued even until recent history, when the British Empire ruled the whole world. But today, after the formation of the United Nations organization, every country has its sovereignty. The Charter of Human Rights made people equal regardless of their race, religion, and gender. What you have said is true everywhere except in the Muslim countries. Racially, still the Quran teaches that a man is allowed to sleep with his slaves without even marrying them. He can have sex with 4 women at the same time by the law of the so-called permissible polygamy. He can sleep with an underage girl who has not yet reaches puberty through the halal child marriage. And if you don't believe me, refer to Surah Al-Nisa 4, verse 3, and Surah Al-Talaq 65, verse 4. Moreover, there is no equality between men and women in Islam. The same verse gives the men the right to rape the women of the defeated infidels as slaves, and verse 34 in the same surah allows the man to beat his disobedient wife. In court, the Quran says the testimony of 1 man equals the testimony of 2 women. This teaching clearly indicates that the woman is inferior to the man. The Prophet Muhammad said that woman is deficient in religion and intellect. Regarding equality in religion, Sharia differentiates between Muslims and non-Muslims. According to Islamic law, if a Muslim kills a Christian or a Jew, he will not be put to death. On the other hand, if a Christian kills a Muslim, he will be executed. Now tell me, my beloved girlfriend, where are the human rights in Islam? I am not talking about human rights. My main point is that in those days when our Prophet lived, attacking, invading, killing, enslaving, robbing, raping, and ruling other nations were not seen as crimes as we see them today. We live in a different time and new world. Even today, Muslim scholars and preachers teach and preach that the holy war, or jihad, is an obligation to every Muslim man. They believe that the Quran is applicable to all time and places. It is true the Quran is applicable today, but who can be able to invade other nations? Look at Muslim countries today. They are very weak and backward. They cannot invade even themselves. Sweetie, I am not talking about the situation of Muslim countries today. I am talking about teaching. Can anyone remove the verses of the Quran which teach holy war and slavery? Can any Muslim scholar today erase the verse of Surah Al-Nisa which permits the man to possess and sleep with his slaves? But dear Dr. Samir, there are no slaves today. It is against the international law of human rights for anyone to possess or enslave anybody. Who abolished slavery in the Quran? No one has the right to abolish anything from the Quran, but my point is no one can possess slaves today. So you believe practicing slavery is wrong, and sleeping with a slave woman without marrying her is wrong. At the time of our Prophet, practicing slavery was common practice, but he encouraged his followers to free their slaves. If he encouraged his followers to free their slaves, then why did he not do so? Our Prophet had never owned slaves. Of course, he had slaves and even slept with them without marriage. I cannot believe that. He had Maria, the Coptic Christian, the Jewish girl Safiya bint Huyai, and another Jewish girl called Rehana bint Shamun. Those three women were his wives. If Maria was his wife, why then his wife Hafsa said to him, "You do this in my night, and on my bed, O Prophet of Allah." She said that when she found him naked having sex with his maidservant Maria the Copt in her room. As regarding the Jewish girl Safiya, he slept with her on the same night he killed her husband and brother. He did the same with Rehana. How did you know all these stories and details about our Prophet? None of these details are mentioned in the Quran. I know they are not mentioned in the Quran, but the narrators of the biography of the Prophet Muhammad included all those stories. You mean to say that you learned and knew about Islam before you met me? Yes, my sweetie, I had read many books on Islam. In fact, many Christians know Islam more than Muslims know it, but they scare to be killed if they speak out and tell their Muslim friends about their opinions on Islam. But tell me, do you know about all those stories? Yes, I do, but I had never seen them the way you made me see them today. I am sorry if I hurt your religious sentiments. You don't need to feel sorry. You have said nothing wrong. Whatever you have said is mentioned in authentic and reliable Islamic sources, which are known as the mothers of the Islamic books. See, sweetie, I don't mean to attack your religion, but I found it difficult to believe that the misogynistic and terrorist teachings of Islam could be from a loving and just God. Of course, you are entitled to your opinion. I am proud to have such an open-minded girlfriend like you. After he spoke those healing words, Dr. Samir held his beloved in his arms and began to kiss her. Dr. Ibtihal felt as if she had been suddenly taken out of the bottomless pit and elevated to a heavenly realm. Chapter 20. A disgraceful scandal. In their last meeting, the Muslim wife Ibtihal felt her infidel lover Samir did not only point out serious issues against her religion, but worse than this, he had created some doubts in her mind. She thought, how could she deny those historical facts he mentioned about her religion and the Prophet? Those doubts haunted her mind and troubled her heart. Now she began to doubt her ability to win her Christian lover to her religion. She is scared things may go wrong, and he turns the table on her, and hence he wins her to his religion. When she thought of such a possibility, a sense of dread captured her heart. The more she tried to get rid of those doubts, the more they became real. Therefore, she has been forced to accept them and live with them. The life of Dr. Ibtihal in the hospital is a daily routine. It has nothing of interest to mention while we are narrating her extraordinary life. Until now, most of the important events that hold our attention have occurred outside her workplace. We talked about her as a wife, a patient, and a lover. We have not talked about her as a doctor. Most of the narrators of her story never mentioned anything about her profession. From some reliable feminist sources, we learned that she is a particularly good and loving doctor. More than that, we know nothing about her life as a medical physician. However, one tiny event happened inside her office in the hospital and changed the course of her life forever. The event has nothing to do with her work. It concerned her life outside the hospital. She rarely receives letters. She is not the kind of girl who likes to keep friends and correspond with them. In fact, as her life revealed so far, she has neither girlfriend nor boyfriend except her Christian lover Dr. Samir. Even so, one day while she is in her office, she has been surprised when the postman knocked on her door and delivered a big letter to her. She looked at the envelope carefully before she opened it. The mail has been addressed to Mrs. Ibtihal Taha Al-Amin. It has been sent to her Soba hospital address. She understood the letter had been sent to her. When she opened it and saw what it contained, she was extremely shocked. Her body had been paralyzed and she began to shake and sweat from head to feet. Her heart stopped a few beats, and her mind ceased to function. She could neither speak nor move one of her limbs. It took a while before her mind began to function again, and her eyes re-see and understood the contents of the letter. Many photos of her with her lover have been sent to her along with that letter. She had been photographed while she was entering the restaurant of the Hilton Hotel, while she was kissing her Christian lover, while she was sitting on her infidel lover's lap and holding him, and while Dr. Samir was holding a spoon and feeding the dessert in her mouth. When she overcame the initial shock, she wondered who could do something awful like that. Great fear filled her heart when she thought of her Muslim husband Tariq. Did he spy on her and follow her everywhere she went? She dismissed such a possibility when she realized that her husband would not have kept quiet if he caught her red-handed while she was cheating on him with another man. He would have attacked her and killed her at the spot. No matter who had taken those disgraceful pictures, Dr. Ibtihal has concluded that those shameful photos have publicly disgraced her, forever destroyed the honor of her father, and brought great shame to her royal family. She regretted every moment she spent with her infidel lover in public places. She hated and despised herself. She knew and understood that whoever had taken those photos had done that for malicious purposes. Then she saw a small piece of paper sent along with those disgraceful photos. With trembling limbs, she opened that folded paper, and with eyes flooded with hot tears, she began to read it. To Mrs. Ibtihal Taha Al-Amin, if you don't want copies of those disgraceful photos to be sent to your father Haj Taha and your husband Tariq, then meet me on Thursday at 7 p.m. at my apartment. I don't want you to bring me money or gold but yourself. If you agree to give me what I want from you, then I will destroy those shameful photos and be silent forever. I am neither blackmailer nor a detective, but someone who loves your marvelous beauty and worships your extremely sexy body. House number 2013. Al-Mak Nimr Street. Omdurman. The daughter of the Imam of the biggest mosque in Al-Gadarif city, Maulana Haj Taha Al-Amin, Dr. Ibtihal, hid her face with her hands and began to weep terribly. She concluded that her life had come to an end. She knew and understood that suicide was the only open option for her.